Hi, I'm Jimmy. In this video, I'm going to look at the 3 marijuana stocks that I think are interesting to watch that are either profitable or going to be profitable very soon. Now, I'm not paying attention to whether or not these marijuana stocks are a good deal or they're trading at a good value. I'm simply looking at the potential of being profitable. I figure that most marijuana stocks are way overvalued anyways, but if we wanted to invest in a marijuana stock for the long run, to me, it makes sense to focus on companies that are profitable or heading into profitability soon. Then they have the ability, in theory, to keep growing. Another possibility would be to focus on marijuana stocks that have the potential to get bought out. And each of these companies could easily fall into the buyout target category. But buyouts are often more of a strategic decision. So while that could happen, that's not where I'm focusing with this video. Okay, so now let's get started. So our first marijuana stock is called Pyxis International. Pyxis trades under the ticker symbol PYX in the United States. Now, what makes Pyxis International interesting is that they've actually been in business for a long time, and they've been a producer up until this point. They've been a producer of tobacco plants, and they've been doing it for many years. Now, they're switching at least some of their focus over to cannabis, and to me, this is really smart because the tobacco industry has been struggling lately, while the cannabis industry, as we all know, has been exploding. So, this is a chart of revenue for Pyxis going back the past few years. And as we can see, revenue's been declining. And then last year in 2018, that's when they first started announcing their transition from tobacco over to cannabis. Then when we switch over to net income, well, we can see that they were profitable last year and again in 2016. Now, I actually expect them not to be profitable in 2019 as they're going to have to pay a decent amount of money or a decent amount of expenses related to making the switch from tobacco to cannabis. But I would expect them to be profitable again in 2020. So what I like about Pyxis' stock is that it's the management team. This is a seasoned team in this type of business. So whether they're growing tobacco or cannabis, I would think they could do either fairly effectively. Either way, I think that this is a longer term play. And since I think the cannabis industry has more potential for growth, I would think that this management team could do well in the long run. Okay, so for the next marijuana stock that has actually been a longer term favorite of mine for a while, that is Organigram. Now, their primary ticker is OGI. They're listed on the Canadian exchange. Then they have a US version of it. That ticker that trades in the US is OGRMF. And then I believe in Germany, they're listed under OOG. Now, in my last video on marijuana stocks that I liked, I actually had Organigram on that list. And this is a chart of Organigram stock over the past year. And this is where we did our last video where we talked about Organigram stock being a good investment, and it's done fairly well. It's up a bit over 50% since we did that video. But now the question is, do we think it'll keep moving higher? So here's a chart of revenue. And as we can see, revenue is expected to see huge jumps in the coming years. The green bars are analyst expectations. And this actually brings us to a different point. So Organigram has a market cap of about $1.5 billion, while Pyxis has a market cap of a bit under 180 million or so. So that's why we have analyst expectations for OGI stock, and we don't have them for Pyxis, since analysts tend to cover larger companies. So when we switch over to net income, well, we can see that although Organigram was profitable in 2018, analysts are expecting for them to have significantly more profits in the coming years. So assuming the industry continues to roar, that should help their stock. So what I like about Organigram is that they have one of the lowest costs of production in the cannabis industry, which means that they're going to have better than average margins. And they're ramping up that production. Right now, they're producing almost 50,000 kilograms a year, and that's expected to be in the range of about 115,000 kilograms by the end of this year. Plus, I know they're working on deals with CBD beverage products, which I think have big potential in the coming years. So overall, I'm a big fan of Organigram. Okay, up next for marijuana stocks, we have Innovative Industrial Properties, ticker symbol IIPR. So IIPR has a market cap of less than $500 million, but they're profitable. Now, this is a chart of both revenue and profits side by side. And the reason that I'm showing this side by side is that so we can see how close profits are to revenue. But what makes this particular marijuana stock unique is that IIPR is a real estate company. So I like the concept of IIPR as a unique way to play the marijuana stock market without the same risk, since in theory, a real estate company should be much safer than an actual producer or distributor of cannabis products. And that was actually one of the reasons that I went with IIPR stock as a number 3 pick, because I thought that this could help diversify a decent marijuana portfolio. And as I said in my video where I talked about what I believed the future of marijuana stocks would eventually be, and that is that eventually they're all going to get priced like most other stocks do, based on profits. Well, I thought that it made sense to put together a list of companies that are profitable and are either profitable now or will be profitable soon. So it also made sense for me once I came across a real estate company that competed in the same space. Well, I thought it made more sense to include a company like this as it offered more choices for marijuana investors. So those are the 3 marijuana stocks that I think are worth watching that are already profitable or are close to becoming profitable. And I'm curious which companies you are watching, marijuana stocks that are already profitable or close to it. I wanted to include companies, some of the classic marijuana stock companies like Aphria or Aurora, since I think that those companies have a pretty good chance of getting acquired, and that has potential for some huge upside for marijuana stock investors, but they're not profitable yet. So I didn't want to include them in this video. But what do you think? Which marijuana stocks that I didn't include here do you think have the best chance of being profitable soon? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end of the video. If you haven't done so yet, hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.